Hey everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And it looks like we've got Eric, Valerie, Wade, Philip, Terrence, Valerie again, Robert, John, Dan, Goose, Kevin, Sergio, Alan, Nikki, Francois, Maurizio, JV, Anthony, Donald, Ed. Good morning, everybody. If you want to chat with me, like all those fine folks saying, hey, good morning on the live stream, click the button right over here in the corner, right where the monster can is, right there. The Morning Monster logo, the little green doodad right there. Just click it. And Kimberly making noise over here.
Sorry, I was trying to turn it off.
And Kimberly's right here beside me. And good morning, everybody. Sledge is here. Logan's here. Even my phone making noise. Look at that. Everything's making noise this morning. What the heck? What the heck is going on? And anyway, welcome. So, how's it going? Weekend. I broke a tractor and broke a backhoe and took a shower in hydraulic fluid, like literally, like head to toe. Kimberly was like, I don't know if that's coming out. It was pretty bad. Anyway, I thought it was like when I reached out with the backhoe to grab a concrete block, and I thought it was concrete dust that went in the air, and apparently it was hydraulic fluid that like vaporized, and then when I touched the controls again, it actually like hosed me toes to nose. It was dripping off my glasses and everything. It completely soaked me. It was awesome. I tell you. And then I had to take the backhoe apart while I was like covered in oil. Anyway, I got the hoses in the truck, and I still got hydraulic oil coming out of my watch. Anyway, I gotta go down to the local hose place and get some new hoses made up. It's just like on an episode of Gold Rush when you see them like reach out with the big machine and then they blow a hose and it's spraying everywhere, except spraying everywhere was spraying me in the cab of the backhoe. Completely awesome. Loved it. Anyway, glad to have everybody. Kimberly's over here laughing. Anyway. So, moving on. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. All right, nothing at all. No stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no cryptos, no treasuries. All right, don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. There's a substantial risk of loss, and you shouldn't buy stuff from people like me either, gurus, unless you trust them, because, well, let's face it, most people out there are just trying to make some of your money and some of their money, and they may not be the most trustworthy folks. So make sure you hang out here, make sure you watch, make sure you trust me before you buy anything, please. And if you desire personal financial advice, remember, that's not what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just sharing my journey and my ability to extract a little money out of the markets, and hopefully you learn something and can do the same. All right. So if you need that personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult that financial advisor. So this week coming up, we have, well, today is kind of benign. We had some international news here, and we got some GBP and JPY coming up later in the day, but nothing today. Tomorrow, the FOMC meeting starts, and we won't find out what happens until Wednesday. Dun, dun, dun. This is the big thing of the week right here. Fed funds rate announcement, FOMC statement, and then Jerome Powell cannot resist talking at 2:30 p.m. Ever since he's been the Fed president, whatever, Fed chairman of the Federal Reserve, he has had to do a press conference. Prior to that, every other president before, every other time they would do a FOMC meeting. Like one time, they just throw out the minutes. The next time, they do a press conference. The next time, they just throw out the minutes or throw out the, whatever. And so Jerome Powell feels like he's got to get out there and meet everybody where they are and, speak. And, I don't know. It just seems like prima donna, I want the attention. Anyway. So then the rest of the week, normal unemployment claims on Thursday, and Friday, we got the jobs report. First Friday of the month. Golly, it's May already. What the heck? What the heck is even going on? Time is flying by this year. Already a third of the way through 2024. Almost at 23. 2024, almost a third of the way done. I tell you, it seems like it goes faster and faster. Anyway, I do have jury duty this week. So why is Kimberly here in the office with me? She's trying to learn something. So I'm not telling anything. Jeez. Anyway, I have jury duty this week, so the show may not go on the rest of the week. The show may not go on. So I may not be here in the morning, tomorrow morning. I may not be here in the morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. I don't know. They said I won't be called in every morning. It's criminal court jury duty. And I haven't tried to get out or anything. Doing my civic duty. So I'm just throwing it out there that this week and through next week, I may be hit or miss in the mornings. All right. Just throwing that out there. So I will be here as much as I possibly can and take care of what I possibly can. I'll take my phone. I'll try to take a laptop. I'll try to take all the things with me. But, you know, I am going to suffer this week. That, you know, I do make money from doing what I do and being here and taking care of the community and doing the YouTube streams and doing like this is how I feed my kids. So I'm going to take a hit on this one, but I'm not trying to get out of it. So just I'll be here as much as I can for the next 2 weeks. All right. Just letting you know, just throwing that out there for everybody. Hey, please bear with me. I'm trying to, I'll do the best I can to keep the trade alerts and everything go flowing as best I can. So this is criminal court, local criminal court jury duty. And my panel was not called today. So I'm here with you. I don't know if it'll be called tomorrow or not. It's almost the stupidest system ever for trying to plan ahead is that they let you know at 4:30 the day before if you got to be there the next day. Come on, give me a heads up so I can at least plan for it. But so day by day, I'll try to keep you informed, possibly, but if I possibly can. So I know we have lots of open trades and stuff like that. I'm going to do the best I can to keep managing all that. And if I actually get picked for a jury duty, you know, actually a court that I have to go be on a jury for, they said like we'll have to put our phones in a locker or something like that in the doodad, so we won't have phones. But I'll do my best to make sure that somebody's possibly keeping up with everything while I'm locked away in digital perjury or whatever, or purgatory. Anyway, so there we go. That's the week so far. Bunch of unknown this week. So S&P is going to open in 7 minutes, right? And the ES, which is the futures for the S&P, is up slightly, but we're still below the key level up here. Still below the key level. And I don't know why these didn't update. Right here. Now, here's the big thing. If we're below this level, and clicky click, right there, this 5190, 5200, if we're below that, even if we're kind of at it on Wednesday at 2 p.m., this is very important right now. Please, you may want to take notes. You may want to come back and watch this later. Make note of the timestamp. If in fact we are at or below this level tomorrow, right here, right in here, I'm gonna color it. I don't usually put red zones on the chart, but this is a red zone moment right here. If we're right here tomorrow and we haven't busted through, it is highly likely we're coming right down here on the FOMC, no matter what they say. Now, if we can get above that, zone, the opposite, we may be heading up there. This is the worst place to be going into a FOMC. We can get continuation lower, or we can get continuation higher. We could get an echo of that move right there. This big move down right here. We can echo it right off of that zone. You see where it puts us. the bottom of that zone. All right. All right. Marty, that's what my dad said. Just be honest. They're going to disqualify you. And so there we go. That's what we have. Like, this is what I feel like we've got to contend with this week. All right. That's the big news. That's the big thing. So this sets the tone probably for the next couple weeks, since this will be the first day of the month of May. I don't know that it sets the tone for the rest of May, but I mean, this drop could happen. This drop could happen on Wednesday. It could be a dip and rip situation. It could be one giant candle like this on Wednesday. On Wednesday, not Thursday. On Wednesday, not Tuesday. Wednesday, right there. One giant candle like that, we could actually close just above the roadmap line and then take off from there. So I'm just throwing it out there. We need to be, this is time for caution. All right. I'm not trying to mince words or anything like that right now. This is a cautionary week right here. This is a pivotal FOMC. Even if they don't do anything, the reaction right here is what I'm concerned about. This is it may be one of those that's surprising, the reaction. So we're set up for this big drop, and it could go in one candle. We could be there. We could be down there at the end of the day, Wednesday. From 2 p.m. to the close, we could be down here. It could continue Friday. I'm not so sure. Into Thursday and Friday, I'm not so sure though. I think we may do this, and then we start up on the move higher. Now, the other situation though is that this is a very good proportion for a 1-2, and if we extend down to here, this blue line, this sets up for continuation lower. If we come on down here, bounce up, hit the bottom of the roadmap line, and start down, we're not making a new high for a while. Maybe not the rest of the year. Probably not making a new high on the S&P. Why is this so pivotal? Because if we break down below here and do this, we're not coming back up and making a new high on the S&P. So you need to adjust your trading. All right. We're probably going to be in a corrective, nasty thing for a while. And the target right now for that corrective, nasty thing for a while is going to be right down here. We're probably going to come all the way back down into this zone. That's how much this matters right now. All right. I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm just trying to warn you. Like, this has been on my radar for a couple of weeks. That's why I've been a little uncertain about the way this correction unfolds. Right now, we have the potential setup. If we do a 5 down, we'll probably do a 3 up again, and we could get a bigger move down here. We could be doing this the rest of the year. All right. Everybody cool? Everybody got it? Everybody understand why it's like so concerning right now coming into FOMC this week? This could be a really big deal. All right. S&P's open now. There it goes. Yep. And all the alerts are going to start kicking off. CRWD closed out. And get a little pop. So that's the key zone on ES. And for S&P, same key zone right up there. ZM closed out. My new experimental thing, throwing up all these alerts here. And Twilio closed out. BKKT hitting alerts, hit alert, hit alert. That did a split. Reverse split, 1 for 25. Siga closed out. All right, enough with the alerts. Everything's gonna fire up. That's probably gonna get rate limited in Discord. You can only handle 5 alerts in something like a minute. Anyway, BKKT reverse split. That's not bullish. I mean, it's basically dumpster fire territory at this point. Looks when we look at the chart. PCG. That's pretty horrible right there. So dumpster fire right here on BKKT. Pretty much crap. And it did all my drawings were down here before this reverse split, so let's just remove everything. I mean, even with the proportions, look, it exceeded the 1618. And I didn't even click on the right thing. See the 1272 pushing to the 1618. Probably going to push down to that $7 area, even after even post split here. Oh, I know what the problem is. I got the magnet on. That's why it's being stupid. So that's probably going lower, even from here. All right, back to the headline today. DPZ pushing on up, still in the danger zone here. Just doing the gap fill, pushing up into the gap fill. And let's change that back to orange. Just above it. Now, big picture, roadmap bounce. Big picture, big picture. Let's see. Didn't touch it there. Don't even have it there. Monthly. I went too big. Went too big. We came close. We didn't touch it on the monthly. Probably did on the multi-weekly. Probably went through it on the actual weekly. Yeah, went through it on the weekly chart. So this is set up to get an extension to 646, possibly 744. And it may blow out the negative bias I had. But we're still in the zone to reverse here. Watch what happens today. If we get a close up here and it starts pushing closer to the high, the short trade that I've been looking for is probably done for now. Probably done. So that's the thing about it. Big reward, big risk, and relatively small risk, but for the potential 50,000% payout that would have happened there for my Termar Trading Lab people. But that one may be signaling that we're not going to get the move right there. It's very 3-wave at this point. The correction up, this off the low, that's only 3 right here. 1, 2, 3, and we're at the 1272. That's why I say that's like a key pivotal moment here. We can turn down at that 1272. It just blurs up the lines between whether it's a 1, 2 or an A, B, C right there. Blurred up the lines, but we can still continue down. So I'm not worried at the moment yet. I'm gonna have to go close a bunch of trades. Holy moly. Holy moly. Anyway. All those things that keep popping up are actually trades that we're doing in the Termar Trading Lab group. Alrighty. Tesla. Dun, 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 dun. I kind of skipped all the futures. I can rewind here in a second. Tesla showing a nice... Showing some pop this morning in the pre-markets. DPZ up 30, but Tesla up 20, which is strong. And let's see what we got. See what we got. Coming up on the zone. Getting closer. Got to go down to the daily. That was the gap fill. That's the gap down we did at the last earnings. We're at scratching the bottom of the gap zone. Got to fill it all the way up. That puts us above the roadmap line if we can get up there. Dun, 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 dun. So we'll see what we can do right there. If we can get above that. All right, let's circle back to hit the rest of the futures. NQ, same situation as ES. Watching very carefully. I'm just going to at this point, let's just clean it completely up. All that stuff I basically had on here doesn't really matter. We're looking for this zone right there. If we stop right there on Wednesday, same situation. A repeat potential of this move down right there off of there. Puts us down here. Russell, same exact situation. Already had that on there from last week. If we stop in this zone or anywhere below it, highly likely to get a continuation lower move. This is NQ is NASDAQ, QQQ. Russell here, IWM. And this could set us up for a larger downside potential in IWM. Oil here, just continuing in the channel. Continuing. At this point, I kind of expect us to pop down, but it looks like we're just going to ride the channel. I mean, I have expectation that we would do one final flush here. We may kind of do a 618 retrace, just the same as the indexes, which would put us back up to this 85 area. And then we may do that third move down. So we could push up into 85 by Wednesday, 2 p.m., and then watch oil flush too. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? When oil's flushing, S&P's flushing, NASDAQ's flushing, Russell's flushing, and even the potential for gold to do a flush. Even the potential for Bitcoin to do a flush. Like, everything could flush, and a mass liquidation event could happen. Look at this. This is looking a little bit bearish here. Not going to lie. It looks like we may get an extension. Now, the bottom on Bitcoin post-halving usually occurs in the 2 to 3 weeks that follow. The lowest low typically occurs in the 2 to 3 weeks after halving. So that may happen. Be careful. We're still only about a week and a few days out of halving. Now, the big unknown here is tomorrow. Tomorrow, Hong Kong ETFs start trading, which means that happens tonight. Now, how that's going to play into the market tomorrow, we'll see. But that those ETFs, the spot ETFs in Hong Kong, have required buying by the national banks, Chinese national banks. So we'll see. We'll see how that shapes up. ZM. Yeah. All right, we'll look at ZM in a second. ETH looks like we may push down into the roadmap line on the futures. In the spot market, it already had hit, but it's not doing a bullish thing there. All right, let's see what ZM's doing. Yeah, nice little pop. We were trading the 30-minute charts, and that's blasting on off. Like, that's so it's 30-minute roadmap bounce right there, pushing right up through to the 618 almost. Pretty beautiful move. Pulling back a little bit, but get some continuation. All right. FNGU, be careful. That's a leveraged 3x leverage right there. Leverage stuff, be careful. Right there, be careful. DCPH, that's a biotech pharma. And just chopping sideways to lower. Looks nasty. That chart looks so nasty. Don't get involved in stuff like that. Why does it look nasty? You may be like, why does that look nasty? I don't understand. Look. Hopefully you understand at this point. The high was made back here in January 23. And we're just kind of doing this garbage where we're not. It's just sideways. Just slightly lower. You can see the roadmap line slightly biased lower. It's arcing up a little bit, but price is coming back down. Another dip. Keeps it going down. To me, that's like there's no opportunity to make money. Plus, look at the prices. That's the high, 22. That's the low, 7. It's not a big mover. You may be like, oh, I could trade some. I could trade that. Good on you. It's not what I'm looking for. And even with the pop up here at 25, it's still not what I'm looking for because there's a giant gap all the way up here. The chart looks horrible. There's a giant gap, and we're just hanging out in the gap. hanging out in the gap. It can easily gap right back down. PHG. That just took off. Like there's nothing to do there till we get another retrace right there. It didn't signal anything. Up above the 1618. It's got lots of gaps on the way down. Just gnarly. PANW. Pulse Alto Networks. Potentially going to move up off the lows. Got to get through that gap down zone. That consolidation sitting right in the middle of the gap to make it up to 413. Otherwise, there's the support level where we consolidated all through, gosh, what? From June through November of last year. June through November, we consolidated right around this area. That's support. I'd love to see this move up, get back through the gap fill, go on some extensions. I'm still holding like 5 shares. Baidu, maybe going for that roadmap line. Finally, still got this like downtrend of highs cooking here. Got to get through that. You can see high, high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's just got a series of lower highs. If we get through that, get through the roadmap line, get back up here, we can start looking for those upside extensions. I have a long-term position on this, on leaps, which are long-term equity anticipation products. Leaps, we're just calls out a long period of time, basically. Or calls or puts. I mean, I have a synthetic stock position. That's what I have. So I have calls and puts. ALB, I think Baidu's going to break out, but it hasn't proved it. So that's where we're left with. ALB looks a lot the same. Downtrend line, roadmap line, kind of holding it in there. Can we pop or do we drop down to the target even lower? I don't know. Apple has earnings coming up this week. Was that enough of a target hit that we can finally go up? This has been in a correction since July of last year. And when you look at where we are right now, that was May of last year. So Apple has basically been no money for a year. Like sideways, choppy, hot garbage for a year. This is what I talk about. Like, be careful on stuff that's just chopping. Like, could you have made a few bucks? Yeah. Could you have sold, like, maybe, sell some credit spreads, put credit spreads when we're down here and call credit spreads when we're up here? Yeah, but how would you have known that we're going to stay in the range beyond listening to me? All right. Be careful. This thing was on a tear and then it took a breather for almost a year. We came up really strong off that low in December 22, really strong, and then just stopped. Stopped right there last summer. And we pulled back, we went higher, but even though the market has been super strong off of that October low, Apple's not. So there's opportunity for this to start performing again. It's not like they're not freaking printing money, trillions and gazillions of dollars. I mean, they make money like nobody else, except maybe Microsoft. But yeah, $2.7 trillion market cap, and they pretty much make a ton of money. I mean, it's just they're really good at making a lot of money out of people. So their net margin is only 25%. It was 75% profit, and on gazillions of dollars. So did this stock pattern warrant that kind of behavior? I don't know. You tell me. This is not what Microsoft's been doing. When we go look at Microsoft, and consolidating a little bit, but we've still been on the tear. Like that was the October, September down here. We didn't apparently lots of emergency vehicles are passing by outside, very slowly apparently, and October lows in the market, Microsoft was already way up here off the lows. So this was telling you we were probably going higher on Microsoft, and that could be a roadmap bounce right there. It was darn close. It didn't actually touch, but so it may need a little bit further low to actually touch in there. That could happen on Wednesday. And maybe, just maybe, that's the final move. If the market continues on down, this will continue on down. Yeah, Apple could be the one that's telling us that the market's weak. I'm optimistic we're going higher, but kind of been topping out on Apple for a while here. I mean, that was a big up. Could the party be done? We go on a bigger, deeper retrace? It's always possible. Always possible. XLY. Jumping on through. Just grab this and zoom her up. So this XLY is consumer discretionary. It's got stuff like Apple and Amazon and Tesla in it. ETF. That high. That low. Breaking above the 618 here. If we can get the daily close up here, 189, and you may be like, well, I don't know. Based on all the things you said, I'm not feeling it. 90% of the time on this one, 90% of the time when we get that setup right there, it'll go up to the 1.272. It'll get to the target. So could this tip the hand on the market right there? Possibly. Quite possibly. This is a high probability setup. Only, 9% of the time do we not do that right there. So 9 out of 100 trades don't tend to go up there. That would be a high probability setup right there. That's a strong right there. You got to balance everything. Like what thing do you believe the most? Like now, if we get a close below here, if the daily closes back down here, it's not an entry. We have to have the daily close above that 618 level for this to be the entry. All right, don't buy now saying, oh, well, it's up there right now. And then by the end of the day, it's down here and then it fails. And you're like, oh my gosh, well, that wasn't a 90%. The criteria is a close above that 618. So draw the high right here to the low right there, the 618 level, got to get a daily close above that. So the entry wouldn't be till tomorrow anyway. And then 91% likely we're going up there. And look at the profit factor. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's the gains compared to the losers in the 22 trades that are in this back test. And average trade lasts 55 bars. That's 55 trading days. So we're talking about 22 on average a month. So that's 3 months that this could take to go from here up here. So we could be looking out May, June, July, possibly. All right. Don't think that just because we're up here at the end of the day and it's entry tomorrow that we're going up there next week. We're talking about 55 days is the average. It could last longer than that. All right, that's the average, 55 days. So it could go faster, could go 2 weeks, could go longer, could be like 100 days. It could actually come up here and chop around before it actually pops up there. Now the stop on this thing is $1 below the low. That's how this thing is set up. When I show this off, it's $1 below the low. So it has to get below the low by $1 to stop this thing out. All right. Everybody cool? That's another. This is on the daily chart. So this is a slow mover. Slow mover. It could be up to 5 times longer than that, maybe. I mean, that could be like a whole year you'd be in this thing waiting for this thing to pop up here. Could just kind of until we get up there. So just I want people to be aware of the tool. Like it's not necessarily saying this is going immediately. All right. This is a long time frame. That's an average trade length, and it could last a lot longer. CRWD, potential to bounce here, but also potential to reach down just like ES and NQ. That same zone coming into play right there. It's not a roadmap bounce at this point, so I'm not going to turn on the statistics for that one. LABU. Cooking on down. This is biotech, which, if you're new here, I'm not a big proponent of biotech and pharma and anything the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration of the United States, gets involved in. Not a big fan because they just do crazy stuff sometimes and don't follow patterns that I like to trade. And then this is leveraged on top of that. So take the worst possible thing, or one of the worst possible things I can think of to trade, and then add 3x leverage on it. And that's a recipe for burning your account out. Now, long term, look, this is basically a big giant dumpster fire. It's been going down for a long time. Now, sure, we have little uptrends. You could have made some money on that, and there's reverse splits in there. So these things aren't, you can't go, well, that went from 200 to all the way up to 3,000, JT. Yeah. Divide that by 20 and whatever other splits are in here and back here. So that didn't actually do that. This is actually declining asset, keeps going towards zero, and they keep reverse splitting it. It reminds me a lot of UVXY right here. Get the reverse split, the reverse split, the reverse split. This thing just keeps going to zero, right? It was never up here at 50,000. It always hangs around right in this 30 to 0 area. And they just keep reverse splitting it as it approaches zero, which pushes the prior chart up higher and higher. That's, people talk about, well, I should have bought Apple when it was 5 cents. Yeah, it was never 5 cents. Apple has always been a lot of money per share, and the splits are what drives the prior history down that kind of to those kind of levels. If you actually take the split, not split adjusted chart and look at it, Apple was never ever down at like 50 cents, 5 cents, a share. Just, it wasn't. Kind of like if you look at Tesla right now, it was never at like $1 a share. When we go back and look at it, maybe if you had gotten in when it was the first glimpse of somebody in the somebody's eye, it was not back here. It was not trading at $1. That's the splits, right? That's the split adjusted data. So I see that a lot. Like, I should have bought Apple at $1. I should have bought Nike at $1. You never had that opportunity. It was always in the higher money. Just want to throw that out there. It's a pet peeve of mine when I see people say that. Like, it's like buying Apple at $1. Apple was never $1. Just don't go there. All right, moving on. TSLR. Oh, look, there's leverage on something that's moving crazy. So be careful. TSLL is my weapon of choice. If you're gonna play with fire, I like this one better than the others. Right here, still below the roadmap line, still below the gap down, still below all the things right here. Be careful. We've got that gap to contend with. This does pay a dividend, so it does eat itself a little bit. And if we pop above there, this could go up in a bigger way. If you want to leverage some Tesla without going too crazy into options and having a time limit, this might be a way to do it. If you're kind of believing that the bullishness will continue. Now, breaking above this key resistance here is kind of the key to getting more upside on Tesla. We're up there near it. We're not getting there yet. AXSM is another therapeutics thing. Oxum Therapeutics just kind of been sideways, not really going. And back to my biotech, pharma, FDA stuff, I'm just not messing with it. It's not the kind of thing I'm looking to trade. Shopify, it makes the list every morning because biotechs move big, crazy. Shopify, right there. That's the deal. Can we bounce and go? And 83%. If we bust above that 618, that's why I have an alert there already. Looking for the 98 area up here as the target. This one usually goes a little faster, 24 days on average, 24 trading days, so about a month. Could take 3 months, could take 5 months. All right. Profit factor 3.8. So this one does tend to trend and does tend to hit the targets. You can see it hit. It was buy, it stopped out right there, then buy, and made the money right there. And this one was a buy and made the money right there. Will this trigger the buy, or do we roll down? That is the question. So dollar below the low, entries on a daily close above the 618. Target is up here. Be conservative. I would go 97, maybe 98. I actually use 90% of the way to the 1272 as the target. So I always talk about the fuzzy zones. Everybody can draw these fib lines on the chart, all right? I tend to be the conservative, looking for the bottom of the zone, not the top of the zone. Then you make your, I set your alerts and make your decisions on the smaller time frames if we're going to get continuation higher. Amazon has earnings this week also. Another cautionary, like we bounced right off that prior high. Pulling back, did not get to the roadmap line. Moving up. This really makes me wonder here. We're right in that resistance zone. Do we get the third move down here on earnings or on FOMC or both? I don't know. Tuesday, after the close, if we start down on that one, I don't know. They surprised on the last earnings with a lot of AI income. They could surprise on that again. And they've kind of brought back 2-day shipping, and they're doing a lot of things that are trying to get more customers to spend more money with them, both on the consumer side and the business side. They kind of run, they have their cloud services and all the things, AWS. So Amazon's not just about a website that sells stuff. They have a whole huge other business in the background of logistics. Then they have a whole huge business on the background that is the cloud services on top of just the website. So there you go. Yeah, it's like wrong word. Almost like me saying I received Tesla below $40 a share. It's all the splits. TSLT, another 2x Tesla long. There's tons of these. That one's run by T-Rex. So be careful. AMD, proof is in the pudding here. Do we do the bounce? This has the roadmap bounce potential setup. We're going to have to get above this 618 level to trigger the run up to 256 area. But if this shows weakness and we get below this prior low here, that's why this thing's kind of set the way it is. If we get below this low, it looks like we might go further down. Now, why do I say that? Because this made that pattern looks finished. All right. It would be normal to do a 618 retrace after we finish a pattern. A bigger picture, higher degree pattern. So that's why I'm watching for this, but we could mess around in here for a while before we do that. GL. Holy moly. Well, we pretty much tagged the zone and then recovering. Wow. I have to put it on, take it out of log mode. That's so just like AMD, like this finished a bigger picture pattern here. I'll take these off so they're not distracting. Finished a pattern, got the retrace right there. Pretty much almost tagged it exactly. We're going to have to get above the roadmap line, which is way the fudge up there. Wow. That's life and health insurance, I guess. I'm not trading it. FSLR, resistance above us, support below us, and just waiting for confirmation of some sort of new trend. FULT, nice pop. That looks like on the way to the 1790 targets. Not a big mover, not a big number. And there's a new position on XLE potentially. Decliners, MSTR, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. This has been outperforming Bitcoin, especially during this last pop. If you haven't seen me do this before, MSTR is the chart you pull up, then you click the compare button. This is just right here. This is TradingView, free platform. Anybody can use it. So look, wherever you want to line it up. You want to look at year to date. There's MSTR, there's Bitcoin, right? MSTR doesn't have leverage on Bitcoin. They just own a bunch. So why would they outperform to the tune of 300% when Bitcoin's only been up 50, 60%? So this doesn't make a lot of sense. And these two are probably going to come back together somewhere down here, would be my expectation. All right, so be careful playing MSTR super long right now until these two kind of come back in alignment. Now, if we look even further back, all the way to the lows of Bitcoin, back here, where we bottomed in November 22, right in there, you can see the outperformance here, 1,000% versus 300%. That's hype. Be careful. Just be careful, all right? That can retrace, come back down. I mean, we came close, took off, probably come close again. Just be careful. That's all I can offer is be careful, all right? Some things don't make sense. They don't have leveraged Bitcoin, so it doesn't make sense for them to be so crazy outperforming Bitcoin. TSLZ, another inverse. That's a leveraged inverse Tesla. So if Tesla's going up, this is going into the basement right here. ADXN is a biotech pharma, just choppy and looks like it's going to be a dumpster fire going to zero. Big fat reverse split back there. Reverse splits aren't bullish, even though that went up, it can come right back down. TSDD, that's a 2x Tesla. Meta came down and tagged the roadmap line. Does this do? So that kind of cleared up the path. Let's just clear off the chart here. At this point, that high, that low in the roadmap line, it's going to have to do a gap fill to go higher, 563. If it starts messing around, getting below this gap fill over here that we've left open, if we start getting below that, we're probably going to do something deeper, maybe come test this consolidation we did right here. So that could be what happens. Be careful. TSLQ. Tesla bear right there. I mean, if you think we're going down to the basement, that'd be the way to play. But at this point, this looks like shows more clarity than the Tesla chart. I think that shows that if we get below this 618, roadmap line works upside down too. That 20 may be the place we're going right there. Lulu is consolidating under the roadmap line. May get a move up and retest the roadmap line from below. This could be a big measured bounce. Also, this could be a big picture upside to like 600 or 700. Coin. Really want to see this one hit the roadmap line, but it may hold this higher consolidation and then go ALB, ALAB, Astrolabs. Not enough chart to do anything with. EDU. Tag the roadmap line. Let's just clean it up. It finally did the thing. And that high, that low. Looking for a bust above this to get up there. GOOGL popped up above the 618. It may retrace now. Be careful. That can be done. And I'm going to have to go because I have another meeting here in a minute. BitX potentially going to retrace to, this is 2x leverage Bitcoin. You want to play with fire. Here's your fire. BitX is 2x leverage Bitcoin. This may return to the roadmap line. I've been saying that for a while. It may provide more clarity than the Bitcoin chart. Actually, we may find support in here. Turn and burn. All right. This, I would not play options on this. That is highly dangerous. All right. Take the most volatile asset in the world. Take something that's leveraged and then leverage that with options, that's a recipe for losing money. All right. I'm holding shares of this because I believe in the longer term potential for Bitcoin to go to 150 to 300,000, 6 figures. And I'm holding shares, and we'll see what happens. All right. Next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll probably get a bottom in Bitcoin, and then we could be off to the races. And maybe out to December. It could be 6 months before we're actually busting through and making new highs again. So this can languish for a good long while and burn up your options if you're in options in the shorter term. And DQ, when I was making the list, I was like, Dairy Queen. No, it's Daku, whatever, DayQ Energy. And that's bearish right there. Looks gnarly, even though it was down, it was down, well, I guess it's still down $2. $2. So not looking the most bullish there. All right. And that's the list. So bias for the day. Watching for what happens between now and FOMC meeting on Wednesday. That's the big thing. If we stay below this zone, the odds are we're probably going down. If we can bust up through, we can come on up to 53. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for watching. If I said anything, give me a like in the chat right here. And if I said anything that was helpful, beneficial, let me know what your key takeaway was in the chat or in Discord later. And if you're watching this after I'm no longer live, you'll have to leave a comment down below. Thanks for coming. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do all the things. Share it with somebody you think might like this content. And I'll be back again. Hopefully I won't have jury duty tomorrow, but we'll see. I'll find out like after about 4 o'clock today what's going on. So try to keep y'all informed and have a great day. Stay safe out there.